Most founders automate the wrong thing. This video isn't about tools, it's about sequencing. Most founders burn through weeks of wiring up bots, lead scrapers, chat widgets, and it doesn't solve their real bottleneck. I'll walk through exactly why this happens, the cost of it, the exact framework, and what to automate first. So, if that sounds like something interesting, let's jump right into it. So, like I mentioned, a lot of people just automate the wrong things. They get drawn to this shiny object of here. Let's go yellow today. Of chat widgets or lead scrapers or bots. These are very fancy words. And it's like that shiny object syndrome really that kicks in to do it. You know, they just want the newest and coolest tech. But really that's not where it is. You know, chatbots, outreach bots, scrapers. And that is a big trap in the industry. The whole automation space is sort of new, and people just, you know, they're excited. They want the cool thing. You know, it's like imagine Tesla being the popular brand it is, brings out a new Tesla brand, or the iPhone as well. You know, a new one comes out, and they're like, I need this right now. But that's it's really just the facade, and a lot of it is just it's not needed really. So, you know, they want more leads, so you build a cold email automation. Yeah, in a way that makes sense. You want efficiency, so you hook up AI summarizers or chatbots. Agents is the new in thing at the moment. But in reality, if it's leaking a bucket, like if you have a bucket and it's leaking and you don't realize it, and you're like, we need more, so it leads. Let's put an example. Let's draw this out. So we have a bucket, right? And we have a tap. Is that a tap? Possibly. And water's coming in, yeah? These are leads. Leads. That looks like scribbles. But maybe there's like a hole here, right? And the water is coming out. Now, people will see the bucket down here. You know, let's put it back to blue. They'll see the water get down to this level, and they'll immediately get, oh my god, we need 2 times more water to get it back up to this level. But they're not seeing the leak, and this is the whole issue with it. You know, they're seeing the cause, this bit here, but they're not seeing we need to plug this first. Automation should be plugging this first before we start adding everything in. You know, the back end processes are broken. Every lead you capture is just going to go lost in the noise or escape out the bucket. So it's not a lead problem, it's a operations problem. Think about if your team is still manually onboarding clients. You have invoices. I mean, sales is a big pain in our day and age. Maybe doing spreadsheets, you're updating them manually. There's always certain parts of the business that's bottlenecking and causing a huge drain. Is that singular leak that we're looking for? So all you're going to do is just automate chaos. Automating the wrong thing is like pouring water into a cracked glass. The harder you try, the more you lose. Which is like my bucket, but I think I can draw buckets far better than I can draw glasses. So phase one, we split this into 3 phases, and I think every automation should do these 3 phases, right? And they'll make sense. So we need to fix leaks first. We do not want to keep pouring water into this bucket and the leaks just coming out. So we fix the leaks. Then what we want, let's draw our bucket again. I'll draw a better tap this time. Well, sort of. So what we want to do is, we had water dropping in. We want to fix this. This is step 1. We want to plug the hole. Step 2, we want to drive revenue. So we want to turn the tap on. Sure, that's a tap. We want to turn this on. So we need to double this, right? So now we have more water. And what happens once we start putting the automations in and, you know, water's overflowing? It's going to start looking like a hair. The next thing what we do is we need to take that bucket away, because this is filled with cash, and have another bucket which represents a team. So then the team is a second bucket. I mean, it's logical. A lot of people don't think of it this way, but you know, we want to fix that, double revenue, add another bucket for team, and then rinse and repeat. You know, there might be a hole that cracks in this. We fix that. You know, double the revenue coming into this, add another team. So in the sequence it works. Fix the leaks, like we said. Automated repetitive tasks are the leaks in most cases. So automated repetitive tasks, intake forms, client onboarding, payment reminders, reporting, these free up hours. These are probably one of the largest, bottleneck in terms of human consumption hours that you can have in a business. So they're usually the first ones that we want to automate. None of these fancy other tools. It's very simple, very dry automations, but these will have a noticeable impact on the business operations. All of a sudden you'll have staff come to you and say, I have nothing to do. It's like, awesome. Phase 2, we're going to drive some revenue. Once the foundation is stable, we're going to put some automations around sales, marketing, outbound, and reporting, enriching. These are where your cold email comes in, your outbound callers. There could be AI callers, chat bots, and all of these just outbound engines. We're just going to try to drive the revenue, turn that tap even further on. And in stage 3, only at this stage, not before, only at this stage, we start building dashboards, KPIs, and agents to scale. Now, agents are not just the, like phone calling agents, chatbots. These aren't agents. Agents are AI that holds whole departments, right? So we might have a cold outreach SDR agent, which is doing all of our outbound and is doing our LinkedIn messages, and it's replacing a person really. And when we automate it in that order, what happens is we just get a whole lot of buckets of full of revenue. So this is where the problem is. Clients wanted outbound first. We wanted intake billing first. And this is an example of a recent one that we've had. The client came to us and they said they wanted an outbound AI agent. When we actually done our consultation and we provided them with that service, it was very clear that the issue was not outbound. You wanted leads, but the intake and the billing was far more important. The churn rate was really high. There was a lot of clients coming in getting frustrated before the builds even happened. So we thought, okay, well then let's free this up, let's clear this up first, and then we'll start looking at driving the revenue. Fix the leaks first, drive the revenue second. So what we did is we sent the proposal out. We done instant invoices triggered automatically, reminders sent without them lifting a finger. And the result, especially in reminders, which is this billing aspect, is the revenue increased by 20% before we even touched outbound campaigns. And this is that whole concept that we need. Like, where's our broken bucket? If our bucket's like this, one of the easiest ways to, let's do some green water here. The easiest way to bring in the revenue, some real low-hanging fruit revenue, is this bit. Just plug the hole, right? Bring the water back up this whole section. By bringing it up, that whole section, we've got a hell of a lot of revenue. Sure, it's not like double and triple revenue numbers, but something so simple as just plugging up the billing made a huge difference, 20% before we even touched the outbound. And that was just by fixing the leak. All it was automatic reminders, invoice triggering automatically, making sure clients pay, giving them a good onboarding experience, and just making it very streamlined. So if you automate the wrong things, it wastes time and money and morale. You pump more water in the bucket, it's just going to leak out more. So when you start with the wrong automation, 3 things happen. Time will be wasted. Your team spends hours on manual admin. If you have a flood of inbound leads that come in, and your team is scattered everywhere, they're going to spend extra hours on manual admin, which then would probably cost you a hell of a lot more in terms of staff wages and in terms of reimbursements than it would actually just automating that process first. Second one is money wasted. You pay for tools that don't move the needle. A very common one is a new AI tool comes in and instantly you buy it. Like, some promise of, oh, this is amazing, you're going to be able to use this, you're going to be able to increase this metric. And what happens is you purchase it, and then you realize it's a standalone program, right? It's a program that doesn't sync with other programs you have, maybe, or it's a program that does a singular thing. A reputation management is an exact perfect example of this, right? So you'll pay. I remember a family member of mine. They got offered 2K per month for a reputation management standalone system. Yeah, it didn't do anything. It just reviewed. It just reviewed any Google reviews that came on, and done automatic triggers to actually send them an email back. That was 2K per month. When I spoke to him, I was like, that's strange. I looked at the platform, looked into it, and all it really was just a singular standalone, tool that you probably won't use. It's just going to sit there and it's going to automatic trigger. Why not use something like Go High Level, which is $99 a month, and they have the the management built into it, right? So they have all of this can be done for that, an extra $1,900 saving. So there's a lot of standalone platforms, is just one of them. There's also tools that you may not use because you're not ready. Maybe you're bottlenecked at a staff, maybe a certain staff member is so full with work that they can't actually have time to utilize the tools. And this is sort of where we're going with this money wasted. And morale is crushed. Team loses faith over automation when it doesn't deliver. I've seen it many times that automation will get implemented to a company, and the founder and the owner is really, really excited. We do the training. We always offer a 2-week post-build training session for our staff members, and they sort of get really excited now. I can't wait to use this. But then it's the owner sort of says, okay, we have to put that on hold, or no, we can't use that to do this job, and they sort of lose faith, and the morale goes from oh my god, this is going to be wonderful in the business, to that's okay, so we can't really use it. Okay, so why? And it sort of it brings them lower than what it was before we even spoke about the automation, which is a very interesting concept. So when you're doing the automations, what you need to ask is these 3 incredibly simple questions. You need to ask, what is stealing most of the time daily? And most people default to lead generation because there's a confirmation bias that lead generation will solve their issues. But if they really look at it and analyze it, use programs. I mean, I use a program called Rise that tracks throughout my whole day. And in there, I can actually see the categories that I build, right? So you can see in Rise, I have focus meetings. Obviously, it's 10:30 in my time, and I've been doing videos before. But you can see, where all the time is going. Sales, and we have programs like this. So a program tracker like this can even be helpful in identifying if you sort of can't work it out yourself. What stops the money from hitting the bank? This is usually a very invoice issue or refunds. Ideally, we want to be as efficient as possible. We want to make sure there's no roadblocks. Currency conversion's a big one. Are you offering all the options that the clients can pay? Do we need to automate something else in there? Do they need to be paid on a certain day and a certain month? If so, do we have an automation, in case we forget? And what bottlenecks repeat every week? And there's always 1 or 2. So these 3 questions give you the blueprint. It's sort of the 3 initial questions I ask when I do consultations for the AI business Blacklight. And when I have these meetings and set up these, this foundational plan, we ask these 3 questions all the time. They usually don't get answered. There's a very vague answer, and then we have to dive deeper. But that just shows you how much that people are just wanting AI to come in and save something, and they just don't understand where it can help, which is why I do consultations. Automation isn't about replacing people as well. It's another concept that people have, that we're going to bring in AI and people lose their jobs, or You know, I have a great bookkeeper or a great VA. I don't want her to lose her job. Is a very, very, very common one I get. But the founders are just seeing automation as a robot replacement, right? It's wrong. It's not about removing people, and this is that whole thing where it goes back to people getting scared and the AI revolution is going to replace everyone. We're going to have no jobs. The AI is never meant to replace anyone. It's meant to reduce all friction so people can actually focus on meaningful work. If I have a person that does my payroll and their job is to make sure that my staff get paid on time, and they get paid correctly, then ideally I don't want her to be dragged away doing a phone call about something, or something that's not HR related, or meetings about I don't know, staff communication or any of these sort of things. And the point of it is that we remove the friction so they focus only on the meaningful stuff within a business. And when you frame it that way, it becomes very obvious what should be automated, right? If you have your staff member and you have a job, let's say they have job one, and rather than being like, okay, what automation can I implement to eliminate this? That's the wrong way to do it. If we have this, what we should be asking is, if they had a robot pal, that's a bad robot. I should be really good at doing robots at this stage, but if they have a robot pal straight out of Disney, what could they do as well in job one? So if they had a buddy, a companion, uh, and you got to team up two people, a robot and a human, what would this person do that would make this job a hell of a lot easier? When we frame it like that, incredibly obvious what to do. If you have sales reps should be doing the calls because human to human interaction is the best. Okay, so then what would help a sales rep do more calls or have more meaningful conversations? Well, we'd want to introduce an enrichment. We want the sales rep to go to the calls knowing everything about that person. We want them to, answer the phone. Hey, Bob, I saw you walked your dog last Thursday. That's a little bit stalkerish, but it's allowing for that more meaningful connection. And this is what the job is. Maybe once the calls are done, then we get the AI to transcribe the call, put it in a CRM, and use another AI like a GPT model to analyze to see if this is a possible warm lead, whether it should add them to nurture based on the conversation the sales rep had. These sort of things is where it becomes obvious, right? The meaningful work is the sales rep doing the phone call. The AI meaningful work is doing everything that facilitates that phone call to maximum efficiency. So the order that you should automate in should be foundations, revenue, then scale. In that order, which is fix, this is team, and this is our tap, which is increase rev, right? The hole in the bucket, the tap, and the extra bucket. So if you remember nothing else from this video, remember that automation compounds when you build it in the right sequence, or if you skip a step, you feel like you're spinning your wheels. You need to make sure that everything is in that order. Like, I'm not going to keep going through buckets because you're probably sick of listening to me talk about buckets at this moment. But we need do it in sequential order, and you'll find the impact is incredibly large. And if you're not sure where to start, you can DM me. I offer consultation services under my business Blacklight. If you're not sure what to automate your business, we have roadmaps. We offer a service that will allow you to, we sit down for 3 hours, do a consultation, do a roadmap, draw out what needs to be done, draw out sort of the build plans. And then all you need to do is take that build plan and give it to any freelancer, any agency, and just say, I want this, and I'll have everything you need on those plans. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can DM me on any of the social medias. Check my link that is in my profile for the YouTube. We can start with the right thing and automate everything that multiplies the result faster, and you'll be off to the races. So I hope you found this video valuable, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.